I think number one, the biggest mistake or the most sort of common mistakes is, look, it's a bit of cliche, lack of planning. So I often talk about, you must have a business plan or some sort of planning that's, more detailed plan, thought through, rather than I've got a great idea, I've got a great opportunity, or I'm passionate about food, or I love coffee, therefore I'm buying a cafe. Yeah. So, rather than just a great idea or great location, rather than a detailed plan. So that's probably one of the very common mistake I see with a lot of
people. So is that they're not knowing their target market, they're not knowing exactly what it is they're going to do, they're just coming from a lifestyle point of view that they think it's going to be a great change for them?
I think all of the above. So, so often people go, okay, I've got, a great idea, I've got an investor, or I've got my family who's, love coffee, or, have restaurant background, or I have an investor. That's all very good point, but how do you make it work? So, in a well-documented and researched business plan, we should cover all of those areas. So, how much will be involved, how much capital will be involved, who's going to be the person managing the business, how will the team come together, what the cash flow business will be, what the cash flow situation, when is the break even, if there's partners involved or family member involved, what are the responsibilities and the obligations financially, emotionally, and physically, what are the roles and the rewards or the payment. In most cases I've seen with new businesses that cash flow could be tight, but you still have to work, so a lot of time you don't get paid. That's very stressful in a lot of sense, so things fall apart. So a good planning or covering all of those aspects before you get into the business is a very good exercise.
Planning's the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one of the common area people sort of lacking detailed planning. The second common mistakes people make, and I see very often, is the cash flow or allowing enough capital, or perhaps the backup money to sustain the business. Look, it's probably not an issue for someone who's got a lot of money or a lot of investment, or if they buy into a goodwill, the cash flow is ticking over, that's not a problem. But I have often seen a lot of people go into the business having just enough money to invest into the goodwill or the setup of the cafe, and not leaving enough for things like, you've done this before, for a new startup business, often you might not have enough cash flow, so you need to cover your living expenses. Yep. You need to cover your rent, or you even need to cover, maybe there's a shortfall to allow the business to grow. So in the meantime,
things that you haven't thought of that you have to buy.
Yeah, the equipment, the staff, the rent. So until your business reach that break-even point or allowed to give you a positive cash flow, who's there to cover the shortfall? So I've seen a lot of people, in that leading up time, not allowing enough backup money, so therefore they run out of money and they get stuck in the situation there. They come back on the market and then the business for sale. So that will be one of the areas. So allowing that extra money, or have access to that extra money to, allow the business to grow and until break even. So that's probably the most difficult phase of any new business.
Yeah.
One of the other sort of mistakes or key points is having the right staff. Look, it's another cliche, everyone knows having the right staff is either break or make your business. So that's exactly the point. So having the right key staff to support the cafe owners, to build up the business or even manage the business is vital. So I often say hire slow, fire fast. I certainly learned that. In my first business, it took me 3 months to fire the cook who was consistently not showing up and sending out food that was not, up to standard. It took me 3 months to do that before I, have the courage or the confidence to say you're gone, because I was scared. If he's gone, I don't know how to cook. So, but then looking back, had that been a good decision, having the right people, and everything will just sink in. So now, I have a number of businesses where having the right staff, and then I can walk away from the business, and the business will run.
Okay, so what are you looking for when you first hire them? Do you do the hiring yourself these days?
Absolutely. Yeah, we actually, not only we do the hiring ourselves, we have a hiring system called, a recruitment, we call it a group interview recruitment system. So it's a filtering system where we have as many applications as possible, or applicants, and then so filtering through to have as many applicants in the group interview situation, and then the next filtering process is the trial, and then we'll put them on a 3-month like a probation period, and it's a testing period. So until that person's got the right, number one, attitude. Skill can be trained. You can't train attitude. So the right attitude.
So that's what you're looking for first. Just looking for attitude straight away. That's number one, attitude, mindset, attitude. Number two would be, depending on the position, whether they have the right skill or not. If not, that can be trained or can be, retrained. And then looking for staff who is looking at going the extra mile, so that way that can be groomed to be in the supervisory or manager's position, and and that way they can help help, certainly in my situation, help me to build up the business and be groomed to be a supervisor and manager, so I can be leveraged out. Yeah, that sounds great. I like that one. Hire slow.
High, slow, fire, fast. I've learned the hard way. So, one of the, I'll just make a quick, one of the interesting story, there was a staff that was actually competent enough, but wasn't really suited to one of my business. Took me a year to ponder, he's competent, efficient, but wasn't really the right managerial position that I was looking for. Took me a year to let her go. And as soon as that position was filled, had someone else who matched my requirements, I was able to have the business under management fully, walk away in 3 to 6 months time, whereas it took me a year. So I've learned, probably that's the advice to go, having the right people that suits you, rather than hiring someone that just fulfilling to do the work.